Welcome to the new episode of Secrets of Trading with myself, SharmaFX and Stefanos here. So we have taken a huge break, but finally we're back.
Yeah, no, it's good to be back. I'm glad to be able to provide value for all you guys and, answer any questions you guys have in the comments, stuff like that. Like these are always a joy for us. We've just been so busy, and that's something we're actually going to get into today. So
Yeah, absolutely. So that kind of leads us right into our topic today of like gaining momentum. So I've talked to a lot of you guys, a lot of you guys have reached out to us, both of us. And so recently I got a message from somebody, and that's why I kind of came up with, let's talk about momentum, because somebody reached out to me recently in the last day or two, and they were talking about how they've been following us for a very long time on YouTube, on Instagram, from the days that when we used to do our weekly outlooks on Instagram. So they've been following us for a very long time, right? And so they said that they took a break and kind of went back to work, and they also had like moving going on and things like that. And now they're trying to come back, trying to gain momentum again into trading. And they try to do it for, a couple of weeks or so, but they're not able to gain that momentum back, or they see that there's a shift in their mentality as well. And so that kind of got me thinking, I'm pretty sure there's a lot of people out there who kind of struggle with the same thing, right? Or there are maybe people who have been, trading for a very long time or trying out like some venture for a very long time or something like that, but they haven't just been able to gain the momentum just yet. And I think the important thing here is consistency. So I want to kind of ask you, Stefanos, when it comes down to like momentum and consistency, we both know how important it is, especially if you're doing a business or, if you're trying to start a new venture, working out, you're always posting about your workouts and everything like that, like daily. So how important is consistency, and how important is, keeping that momentum, or what helps you keep that momentum?
Yeah, no, momentum is like if you don't have momentum, you're not going to get anywhere. Like it comes from the drive that you have for your overall macro drive, what your main goals are in life. It's the main thing that's driving you every single day. When you're at let's say a 1 to 10, I always ask the guys in my group, like, where do you feel momentum wise? And they'll give me like a, 5, 6, whatever. If, we're kind of out of touch, or, they're just coming back to trading, they're not feeling too good. I ask them like what it is from a 1 to 10. I explain to them, if you're at 10, you know exactly what that feels like. It's better than any feeling you'll ever feel in this, in your life, where you're just going at 100 miles an hour. You're focused. Everything that's important to you is the only thing that's on your goal sheet that you write down every single day. But it's very important to keep, and it's very hard to gain back if you lose it. One example that I kind of went through is it's kind of funny, where they always say that the year you get married is the biggest year of your life. And I experienced that this year. So I had so many things going on, so many, the bachelor party, the wedding. We went down we had the honeymoon. We went down to Florida to look for places to live. We went to Cyprus for 2 weeks to visit my family. Like, when you have those things back to back to back, I'm sure a lot of you guys can understand, you feel naturally kind of checked out. You feel like it's very hard for you to keep momentum going, because right around the corner, there's another event that you have to have. So me personally, I couldn't wait to get back from Cyprus to get my momentum back. And the one thing that you guys should be doing, if you lost your momentum, is hopping on a diet. That's like, so obviously get realigned with your goals. But when you hop on a diet, you get a diet plan, you go to the grocery store, you're looking around for healthy foods, you're picking things off the shelf, putting them in your cart. You look at your cart and it's like all health stuff. You can't wait to check out and get back home and start meal prepping. And every single day you have it written on your phone, meal 1, meal 2, meal 3, whatever you're doing, protein shake, whatever you're doing, it's all structured. And it's an easy way to keep everything structured and keep your momentum going. So once you get that done, then you start putting in the work. You're not going to get any kind of motivation or feel driven or anything like that until you start putting work in. Once you do, and I know it's hard, I know that's like a hard hump to get over.
It's very interesting that you said like you start off with diet. I would think like you would probably say like, workout or something like that. That's what a lot of people say, right?
Get a workout in.
Yeah, like get a workout in. That's kind of what's going to help you with your momentum, with your discipline, and all that. But I think what you said is also very important, the diet. Because even with working out, when people are talking about like their dream figure or whatever, majority of it is diet, right? And I also think it also plays a huge role in how, our energy levels, how we're doing our work, and, everything pretty much has to do with whatever we're consuming. whether it's food or like, podcasts or whatever it is. But I think it's also very important because that's a very easy thing that you can really control, your diet, right? And I think if you're able to, gain that momentum of, we're not saying like don't go out and like, don't eat like whatever you want to eat or whatever. You could have like a cheap meal or like a
cheap meal, yeah.
That's perfectly fine. But if you're able to control something as small as a diet, then I think that's a really good way to kind of gain that momentum. There was something that you were talking about very early on when you were kind of asking this question, was like when you're going 100 miles per hour, you can feel it and you're feeling great. And like, you feel unstoppable pretty much at that point. Now, the next question is that how do you stop yourself from being exhausted? Because I know there's a lot of people out there that once you gain that momentum, they're working, and they hit a point where it's like, I feel burnt out because they don't necessarily, kind of take care of themselves along this way. Yeah, you have the momentum. Yeah, you have, great speed at whatever you're doing. But then how do you also kind of take care of yourself along the way, make sure that you're not getting exhausted out after like a week of doing the same thing or 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
Yeah, sleep is extremely important. Like if you're not getting sleep, your muscles aren't recovering. You're not getting the amount of work that you could be getting in every single day, quality work at least.
Yeah.
But when it comes to having momentum at a 10, like I was talking about, you rarely feel tired. Like even you're doing way more than you normally would when you don't have momentum, and you're more tired then than you do when you have the momentum. And trust me, like if you guys get to that point where you feel like you're at a 10 and like everything's cranking, you're gonna know exactly what I'm talking about. There are times that you get burned out. That's why I like to use the weekends where I really earn my weekends. Like I earn my time to spend time, with my wife or with her family or my family or friends every now and then when we go out on like a Saturday night, something like that. I feel like I earn that because I'm going 100 miles an hour all week long, back testing on the road, coming home, getting 5-6 hours of sleep a night. But on Saturdays or Sundays, if I don't take a client, I'm getting my sleep back in. I'm getting my 7-8 hours of sleep that I can finally grab. So during the week, it's really like maybe 5 to 6. But again, like I'm not tired throughout the day. It's very rarely where I'll feel like I need to take a nap.
Yeah. I think it's also throughout the week, taking little pockets of time to kind of just go do something that you enjoy doing. If you're a person who's for whatever reason not able to go out and like work out or do whatever, then what is something else that you're passionate about, but you also kind of get like a break time from? For example, like this year, I had an injury right after my brother's reception. I messed up my ankle. It was like
On the dance floor.
On the dance floor, yeah. And so, and then after, there you go. And then I also had my black belt test like in May. So the session happened in January. I had the black belt test in May. So I couldn't, necessarily do a lot on that leg. It was my right leg that I messed up. And so the entire test, like, it's going on for 2-3 hours. All I'm doing, and it's a 2-part test. So like, over 2 weekends. And so I end up messing up the other one too, because that's just like
overcompensating.
Yeah. Pretty much I had both my ankles kind of just messed up for some time. And I was just like
in a wheelchair.
I had like a boot on one of them, and then the other one was like still recovering, the one from January. And so like I just had like a brace on there. So yeah, they're pretty much messed up. And so in that time it was kind of figuring out like, well, I can't do much like actively, right, physically. And so like what are the things that I can do? And I started like, we're both kind of geeks in our own way, I guess. And so I pretty much started figuring out like other projects that I wanted to work on that were pretty much put on hold until it was one of those things where it's like, if it's not important to my business, if it's not important to, contributing to whatever I want to do, then it's just like a hobby kind of a thing. And I started getting back into that. And those were like the little pockets of time, like coding my own cryptocurrency or coding, like, doing something else, creating a portfolio or whatever it is, those kind of things. And I think if, you're kind of in the same boat where you're not able to work out, make the time to go work out, or, whatever your situation may be, it's still kind of figuring out like what are those little pockets of time and where you can fit that in. There's a lot of people who may be watching this who have jobs or who have other businesses and trade as well. So it's kind of like, how do you kind of balance between the two, right? And I'm pretty sure we've touched on this many times in our previous episodes. But for you personally, just to kind of come back onto it, you have a business and you also have like trading going on. You also have the mentorship going on where you do the one-on-one sessions with your students, live sessions. So how do you kind of figure out this balance between all of that?
Well, I think a lot of people have a lot more time than they think they do, and this is a lot easier said than done. But as long as you come to, like, let's say a journal at the end of the night, I have like a nightly journal I introduced to all my guys in the group, so and girls. The back page of that, where I have my full notes, not notes, but goals. I have my to-do list, and on the back page, I have my schedule, which blocked off each hour.
Yeah.
Now, it's a lot easier to keep this in tune every single day when I'm home all day long. When I'm on the road, I really have to block out my day before that drive or after that drive. And that's difficult. Like, I don't have the same schedule every single day. So it gets difficult to do that. But as long as you have a good basis of how you want to spend each hour, and then you're I carry this around everywhere I go. So, or when I'm on drives and stuff, but I'm looking at this time schedule of what I need to get done. And let's say I didn't fulfill that previous hour. I'll go back and look at that and be like, oh, damn, like I didn't get as much as I wanted to done in that hour. So now the next hour, whatever I have blocked off, I'm really focused on that. So as long as you have like a time block or a base, a foundation of your day to go back on, it's a lot better because you could be wasting a lot of time throughout the day doing mindless things and you don't even realize it.
Yeah. I think we've mentioned this before, the 75 hard. That challenge really makes you be accountable for every minute that you're spending in your day, right?
Yeah.
And I mean, that's not something that I'm saying like, go out and do it. I think it's very hard for a lot of people. It's your first time. A lot of people, I think 90% of people fail on the first time because they underestimate really how hard that challenge is. But once you kind of do it, I think it kind of changes your mindset a lot too. And you kind of just want to keep going. There's like phases to it and everything. But, if you brought up great points, but if there's someone who's pretty much starting off, right, and who's like listening to this for the first time or anything like that, what would be like an advice that you would give to them besides like, kind of get your diet in order, block off those times and things like that? What would be a suggestion that you would give to somebody?
You brought up a good point about when you were injured, like how do I gain momentum if I'm injured and I can't get into the gym or work out and stuff like that? Like it doesn't have to be the gym. I just think that's the number one. That and the diet, getting your health in order, you feel like a brand new person. You feel amazing. Like you're putting whole foods in you, not processed stuff, not bullshit. You're putting like real healthy foods in you every single day and fueling yourself.
Yeah.
If you can't do that, if you can't get to the gym for whatever reason, let's say you're injured, other than that, everyone can get to the gym. But if you can't, the main thing is just have a daily set list of things that you got to get done every single day. And I call it a daily must list. I have to hit those things every single night or every single day throughout and it doesn't have to be long, right? You could start this list off with 5 to 10 items. I think I have like 15 to 20, but they're all like little things that some of them I could get done in 5 minutes. And it's just like every single day doing them. But start off with something like a 5 to 8 item list of things you got to get done every single day. Your morning routine could start off in it. Then, you could hit your trading session. If you're in the New York session right after that, you make your meal, your first meal. After that is the gym. So you got to hit the gym, you got to stretch, got to do abs, got to do cardio. That's one checked off the list. Another thing could be back testing for an hour, right? But when you hit these, instead of getting false dopamine when you're on social media, stuff like that, which all of us are guilty of, get the real dopamine and kind of reset your mind where when you're hitting these goals, that's real good dopamine. That's the good stuff that you want. Every single time you check something off, it feels amazing. So when you check the whole list off, it feels even better. And when you could do that on a consistent basis every single day, you're building momentum a lot quicker than, I wouldn't say it a lot quicker, but I think it's equal as going to the gym or having a good diet. I just think that's a good place to start and then start focusing on this stuff. But back to the 75 hard you were just talking about, I think I did have an advantage because I did it during COVID. But like most of the people watching this right now, that's a very intense thing that you got to do every single day. That's working out 2 times a day, a gallon of water, which we do anyway. But there's multiple things on that list where if you guys are trying to become full-time traders and you're still in your 9 to 5 and still working, for whoever you work for, 75 hard is something that you got to have almost 100% focus on. Again, I was doing it during COVID. I had a lot of time on my hands, so it was awesome to do that. But for you guys, one workout a day 7 days a week or maybe 6 days a week is plenty if you're trying to become a full-time trader, because all the rest of that time needs to be going towards back testing and studying your previous trades.
And so just to end off, pretty much we want to keep the first episode pretty short, but I hope this was helpful for you guys. But to end off, I think it's also very important to make sure that your mind is in check with, when you're coming onto the charts and everything, because this is the charts, the, trading or whatever, investing that you do. I think it really tests your mindset and your psychology in general. If you have one bad day, it reflects onto the charts. And this is, I think, one of those things where you get that instant feedback, I guess, where it's, if you're not there mentally, you could have the proper analysis and everything, but if you're not there mentally, you will see the results almost immediately. And so I think that's why it's very important to kind of, start a schedule, stick to that schedule the best that you can. 100%. We're not saying that the first time you make a schedule and you start trying out these things that you will be successful like 100% rate, right? But I'm pretty sure there are going to be people who are going to kind of have a little bit of mistakes in between where they won't be able to follow a schedule for 100% of the time. They will fall off schedule or even diet or whatever it is. If you're trying out something new, always expect any sort of mistakes that will happen. In between, you're not going to have 100% successful rate, but that's kind of a learning experience for the second time around doing the same exact thing. So that's pretty much how you kind of gain your momentum and keep the momentum. And I think the important thing having the momentum and also discipline is the fact that a lot of people get exhausted out, right? And so when you say discipline, when you say momentum and everything like that, it's very hard to keep going for a very long time until there are going to be shifts in between until you start to adjust with things along the way. So, kind of make room for adjustments along the way, but also understand that it's very important in between that you take those pockets of time to make sure you're kind of taking care of yourself and your own health. And I think that's very important. That's, some things that obviously I've struggled with too, when I had the injury going on and whatnot. And after the test, it was pretty much, I think we had 6 months. It was me and one of my karate instructors. He made the entire workout plan and the diet plan and everything for me. I think for about 6 months, we were going hardcore. We're switching between diet plans, intensity on the workouts were, increasing and everything. Even though I had the injuries going on with my foot, it was just okay, how do we work around it? So we were adjusting with that. But after that, he was take a month off and, go rest, go do whatever, go eat whatever food that you want to eat and things like that. And then I think that's where kind of the hard part is, making the switch of all right, how do I go back into my daily schedule and my daily momentum and things like that.
It's got to be a drastic change. It's got to be again, realigning with your goals, really doing taking some time on it, and then going to the store, grocery shopping, getting all that stuff. And then again, getting to the gym. It's got to be a drastic change. And then after that, it's hard in the beginning staying consistent. That's why it's so hard to hold the momentum. It's one of the hardest things you could do. And once you lose it, it's very hard to gain back. It's hard to get back into that mindset without somebody behind you, explaining exactly what you need to do, giving you that hard talk of what you got to do and where you need to be and what you need to be doing. That helps a lot too. But yeah, it's once you get it, I promise you guys, keep it and do whatever you can. Stay consistent with everything that you need to do every single day, and you're going to be good. But if you have any questions, please reach out to us.
Yeah, 100%. So that's pretty much the end of our first episode. I hope, you guys found this very useful. I think it only made sense that we came back with a topic like this, given a huge break that we've had in between. But, hopefully we are going to obviously continue this, but hopefully you guys were able to get some nuggets out of this. But as always, you guys have any questions, feel free to reach out to either of us, either, put it into the comments, or the fastest way to get a hold of me would be Instagram at SharmaFX, and then Stefanos is StefanosFX28.
And 2 quick announcements. We're going to be releasing one of these every Friday. And this Sunday, we're actually back with the breakdowns at 12 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So I very much look forward to that. It'll be on Instagram and YouTube. So you guys have the full visual effect. But also, if you guys are on Instagram, I know a lot of you guys in Europe and Africa and Asia, you guys are all starting your Sunday night, with a nice little breakdown to get ready for your Monday instead of us doing this on Monday. So like I said, I look forward to it, and I hope to see you there.